Hello and welcome to the episode 11 recap of the Courtship. Remember last week Nicole and Lincoln slept together again and we all about lost our minds because we're rooting for her. Anyway, in the first minute of episode 11, I was already kind of yelling at her again because she says the dreaded words. Maybe I can be the one to change him and make him settle down and give up a bit of his van life. I don't want to pile on too much, but she makes it really difficult sometimes. Anyway, the guys talk and they're all confused. Danny rightfully says that after Lincoln's second night with Nicole, he doesn't want to be second choice. Jesse's confused because he was under the impression that he and Nicole had something developing. Today's daily tea is that they're going to be having an open air feast, but they're all going to be making their own food and kind of catching their own food, like literally milking cows, collecting honey on the grounds, that kind of thing. Nicole has some fun with Jesse, getting ducks into the pen. She and Lincoln are tasked with collecting honey, I think. I couldn't watch this, it made me feel kind of itchy. Lincoln sits then with Mrs. Remy and says that before coming to the castle, the longest he stayed in one place was 10 days. She asks him about his nomadic lifestyle, and you guys, he says that during lockdown, there were moments that he had to take bird baths and find streams to bath in because the gyms were closed. And I was kind of thinking you couldn't park your van and just go home for a bit, but I mean, we don't really know why he lives in his van. Maybe he can't afford housing. Either way, I feel like the van is actually the least of the problems right now, and it's more the guy. He's just not a very nice guy. Right, so I kind of got caught up in the show and Lincoln and his off the beaten path lifestyle, but it also just occurred to me that a lot of unhoused people might face these issues as well, and I should have been mindful of that. Mrs. Remy asks the question then, and I'm so relieved at this point. She asks if he'd be able to make some sort of commitment at some point, and Lincoln says he doesn't know. And in their testimony, both parents are like, nope, this is not going to work. Nicole hangs with Cones and he says that she's so wrapped up in Lincoln that he doesn't feel good about his chances. He feels the physical attraction, but he's waiting to see if it will be reciprocated. Nicole spends time with Danny then and tells us in her testimony that there seems to be a cloud over his head and she wants to know what's up. Nicole is so unserious for this. I mean, I feel like she sometimes lives in this fantasy world where she can sleep with Lincoln whenever, and then there's still going to be someone waiting in the wings on bended knee at the end of the show for her. She says that she feels that she wants him, Danny, to give his heart to her. Anyway, Danny is all of us at this point because he says that there are guys in the house who want something serious, and this thing with Lincoln doesn't match with what Nicole says she wants. Something along those lines. She says, well, you keep telling me that you like me, but we're down to the final 4 in this game. And then she says, and wait for it because it's a doozy. She says, I'm in love with you and I have been for a while. I don't know what she was expecting here, but Danny doesn't really know what to say. I mean, you're telling this man that you love him the day after you slept with somebody else. She eventually walks away from the talk. Somebody help me. Is she lying? Is she confused? Is she just panicked and trying to prepare a soft landing for herself in case Lincoln pulls another Lincoln again? Danny tells Nicole's sister that he's at his breaking point and their time together was tense. So I'm not a Danny fan, but I understood his anger and irritation here. We're all kind of losing patience with Nicole. Nicole's mom tells her that Lincoln is not ready to give up van life. He's not a guy who's running towards this relationship. Her dad says then that he wouldn't approve. Lincoln is not stable. Nicole says that she wouldn't marry someone her parents wouldn't approve of. I mean, this is certainly not going to be an issue with Lincoln anyway. But yeah, the choice is hers to make. Lincoln says that it would take falling in love for him to settle down, and he knows now that he can't fall in love with Nicole. He tells us in his testimonial that did he really say that it's going to look like post-nut clarity? I had to switch the subtitles on for this because, I mean, this guy just does not care. He says that he knows that there's nothing on his end. He just wants a fun fling and he doesn't see a future. Cones then decides to write an anonymous letter to Nicole to let her know what's going on with Lincoln, and the letter is served to Nicole at dinner. Nicole's sister asks their parents to leave and Nicole tells about the letter that spills the truth about Lincoln. She asks if it's true and he eventually admits it. They go off to talk in private and he tells her that he stayed because he wanted to try and he did feel something, like he was falling at the time. She tells him that she sent someone home who really cared about her. And sidetrack, do we know who she's talking about here? Because it's certainly not Miles because they were too incompatible even though he did like her. Mr. Hunter was really good, but he was a bit of a closed book. Maybe she just meant in general, but it sounded like she used the singular someone. Anyway, My stomach kind of hurts because then he tells her, I wish you could have kept that person instead of me. It's the old, I don't deserve you playbook. He promises then that she will find a man that loves her, and she says, well, I have nothing else to say. He asks if he's allowed to hug her, and thankfully she says no, he needs to go. And I was thinking, Lincoln, you've had quite enough hugs. So moving forward, Nicole says that she's going to demand the respect that she deserves. Well, good, but it's not as though you even have to demand that from Cones or Jesse. But I feel like if she's going to keep on choosing guys like Lincoln, then yeah, she's going to have to demand that. Not that she will get it. Nicole and Jesse dance, and sorry, but Jesse's dance is really romantic. I know I swoon over him every week, which is interesting because physically he's not actually quite my type, but he's such boyfriend material and he just seems like a good guy. Anyway, thankfully he stays. Well, I think thankfully. I know some of us were thinking that maybe it's best for him to go home and save himself from the Nicole and Lincoln drama, but I don't know, I like him. I haven't forgotten that Nicole called him her safe bet though. I'm worried about that. She dances with Danny then, and she says in her testimonial that he still gives her butterflies. Cones admits that he wrote the letter, and she says that she's happy that he told her. He gets to stay, so 3 guys remain. So I feel like this whole thing with Lincoln should have happened episodes ago. He should have been gone, but I guess better late than never. Anyway, I don't have a lot of time to record today, so this one's going to be pretty short. Yeah, feel free to share your thoughts, and thank you for watching.